After the climate and evaluation of yellow and red cards, the next section is the new concept. Just like in every lesson, they're going to review the flashcards, move on to learning a new concept, and then follow up with dictation. So the first day we are going to do new concepts, even though it is embedded in level 1. It is a couple concepts that we are not getting in the assessment, but it is important for students to learn. So I'm going to, as a tutor, take one set of the A to Z letter tiles that are on the whiteboard and put them randomly in a pile like you see over here on the left. And then I'm going to mention to the students what is written in bold. Every week we build words with tiles while also working on alphabetizing. Therefore today I want to see if you can put these letters in alphabetical order, also known as ABC order. Please use your dominant hand. If you write with your right hand, that would be your right hand. If you write with your left hand, that would be your left hand. Or the same finger you use to hold a pencil. Make sure you use that dominant hand to move the tiles. After every word you build, you must alphabetize the letters and put them back in the correct spot. So can you put these tiles in alphabetical order? So maybe once the student has alphabetized, it will look something like this. It could be one straight line if the student has enough room on their desk, or the alphabet letters can wrap around and go underneath if they need the room. But this is what it should look like when they are done. Next, we're going to move on to the blue cards. Often during the new concept phase, students are going to get new flashcards that are going to be added into the review section. So you want to make sure that you are getting the flashcards that are mentioned in the teacher's manual and pulling them out and putting them in the review section so that the next tutor has them already ready to go for the review time. For the first session, we are only going to do key cards 1 through 7, and then based on their assessment, they could have all of the cards listed below added into their deck. If they test out of the entire level 1, they will still be added into their review deck. They will not have to practice any of the words with those concepts. They still need to know every single concept. So what you are going to do, because this is a new concept, you're just going to read the cards to the students and then add all of them onto the review deck. You're only going to read the first 7 cards, and then based on the assessment, I will pull out the remaining cards if needed. But the first 7 cards are, this first one is, the vowels are, and the student needs to respond with A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. That answer, the answers for the blank are actually on the back of the card. So you have the answers, but you're not going to show the answers to the kids. You're just going to say the vowels are and see if the student can list it. The second card is a consonant is. The answer they give is any letter that is not a vowel. That's what they're wanting. But just so you know, there is a definition of what consonants are. Consonants always close the mouth. The sound somehow is getting blocked when it comes out. It's either being blocked by the tongue, like a tongue tapper, tongue scraper, or it's going to be blocked by the lips, like nosy M might be blocked by the lips, or partially blocked by the lips, like a lip popper would be. And then it's going to also be blocked by the teeth, like the skinny airs or the fat air push and the fat air. Those are all blocked by the teeth. So a consonant is the answer they want is just any letter that isn't a vowel. But for you as a tutor, so you know, it's always being blocked somehow by the tongue, teeth, or lips, or even the rounding of the lips, like in the R sound or the H sound. Even though those ones aren't fully blocked, they're just the rounding of the lips is slowly squeezing the air. Whereas a vowel, your mouth is always open, and that's why we have open syllables, because they end with vowels. And that's why we have the vowel circle, is because we're looking at how much is the mouth opened. So anyways, all they have to say is a consonant is any letter that isn't a vowel. For the next card, they're going to just repeat after you as the tutor. You as a tutor are going to say a vowel's first sound is short. Student says a vowel first sound is short. And then you're going to ask them to point to the vowel that says, and say these in any order. Point to the vowel that says ah. Point to the vowel that says eh. And the student should point to the correct vowel. The fourth blue card is every word has at least one, and there's a blank, and the answer on the back is vowel. Next card, names start with A, capital letter. Totally fine if students say uppercase as well, or instead of. The next one, count syllables. So you are going to dictate words on the back and the students have to count the syllables. I like to add words that they're interested in. So if a student is really into video games, I might have them count video or games, or maybe one of their favorite video games. If they really like riding a bicycle, I'm going to use that as one of the words. Or football, if I know they talk about football all the time, I'm going to use that as one of the words on the back. And we want to see if we can get a couple of them correct each time. So I usually say pick 5 words that are listed on the back, and they have to get all 5 of them correct in order to get a tally mark. Next card, one that we've learned in the LIT program, C says before what 3 letters, and they should be able to say E, I, and Y. When the C bumps into E, I, Y, it should say that's that C train that they already learned. So that's why we're skipping that lesson and the kids can move on because they've already learned so much. This is often a concept that is brand new for kids, that key card number 8. So that is why we are stopping there, and most likely the student will get a lesson on this and some cards to add to the deck. If they test out of these cards and they do not need it, I'm still going to put the blue card in there because they need to understand the concept, because it's a pattern they'll see in so many words, even harder words. But I want to review them with you just so you're aware of it. So what are 2 ways to spell the sound of k, the beginning of a word? Students should answer C or K. And then the next question on that same card is, which letter do we try first? And that's C. C is because they see it so many more times than K. K can only bump into E, I, and Y. C can bump into all the other vowels and all the consonants, so it's just a lot more common. The next question has to do with the floss rule. It's asking which letters are often doubled after a single vowel. At the end of a 1-syllable word, that vowel has to be short sound. It has to be saying that first most common sound. And the answer to this is F, L, and S. And those 3 letters kind of make the sound of floss if you were reading it. And so that's why it's called the floss rule. The next card is found in level 1, and it's also found in step 1 of level 2, and that's CK is only used right after a short vowel. Because short vowels, I say, need an extra bodyguard because they're kind of like presidents, and so they often have letters doubled or an extra long spelling after it. Plural means, and then the answer on the back is more than one. 2 common ways to make a word plural are by adding S or ES. And similar to count the syllables card, this tell me the base word of, they have a huge list of words on the back. Just pick 5 and have the students tell the base word. You might have learned root word in your training. Root is technically the etymological origin, word origin. So if you looked at the word and you looked back at its origin, then it's an Old English, or it's a Latin word, or it's a Greek word, or it comes from the Germanic root. That is the root. It usually has a very different spelling than how we spell in English. It might have even different letters than we use. That is what is traditionally known as a root word, but teachers often use the word root. So I will make students aware of that connection, that teachers will say root and often mean base word, but base word just means a word that can stand on its own, and it's the word without any affixes. So they're going to say, what's the base word of rocks? Of course, it would be rock. Or what's the base word of hopping? It would be hop. And so you just give a couple examples of that. This card is found in both level 2 and it's 2 cards in level 1. This one is, you're going to ask the student to pull down the letter tiles that are the vowels. And then you're going to say the short vowel sounds are, and they go through each of these vowels and they say the sounds a, e, I, That's where it's saying its sound. That's where it's acting as a president. The long vowel sounds are always their name. It's that second most common sound. So again, using the tiles, they should point to them and say A, E, I, O, U. This is a concept that's taught right at the end of level 1, and it has 2 cards in level 1, but it's condensed into 1 card in level 2 at the beginning. And that is the vowel in a closed syllable is usually, and they give you an option, closed syllables have short vowels. The vowel in an open syllable, because your mouth is open, just like a vowel opens your mouth at the end. The vowel in an open syllable, because it's ending with 1 vowel, is usually long. That vowel has to say its name. These terms, open, closed, long, short, super important for students to understand for this program. So use the terms. If they can understand the names of dinosaurs, they can handle all of these terms. They can even handle phonogram and etymology. I use them all with students.